From pain to purpose, how your darkest moments can illuminate your greatest calling. Welcome to a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about life's struggles, purpose, and the human spirit. Today, we're diving deep into a story that defies conventional wisdom and shatters our preconceptions about where we find meaning, inspiration, and even divine guidance. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Tara Staley, a woman whose life story reads like a modern-day parable of redemption and purpose. Tara's journey from running a brothel to becoming an author and inspirational figure is not just remarkable, it's revolutionary. Her upcoming book, If the Walls Could Talk, set to be released in the summer of 2025, promises to be a beacon of hope for anyone who's ever felt trapped by their past or defined by their mistakes. But Tara's story is more than just an inspiring tale of personal transformation. It's a powerful challenge to how we view our struggles, our mistakes, and the very purpose of our lives. Her insights have the potential to radically alter how we approach our past, our present, and our future. Imagine for a moment a world where every setback, every failure, every dark chapter in our lives isn't just something to overcome, but a crucial stepping stone leading us to our true calling. A world where our deepest wounds become our greatest strengths, where our most shameful moments become our most powerful teachers. This isn't wishful thinking or feel-good philosophy. This is the reality that Tara Staley discovered, and it's a truth that has the power to transform lives. Now, you might be thinking, another story about overcoming adversity. Haven't we heard this all before? But I promise you, what we're about to explore goes far beyond the typical narratives of resilience and perseverance. We're not just talking about rising above circumstances. We're talking about recognizing the divine orchestration in our lives, even in the most unlikely places. Tara's story begins in a place many would consider the epitome of sin and degradation, a brothel. For years, she ran this establishment surrounded by what society often labels as the lowest of the low. But here's where her story takes an unexpected turn. Throughout those years, in that unlikely setting, Tara felt the presence of God. Yes, you heard that right. In the midst of what many would consider a den of iniquity, Tara experienced the protective and guiding hand of the divine. Let that sink in for a moment. How many of us believe that our mistakes or our circumstances can separate us from love, from purpose, from spiritual connection? Tara's experience challenges this notion head on. It forces us to confront our preconceptions about where and how the divine operates in our world. But Tara's story doesn't end in that brothel. It's where it begins. Her journey from that environment to becoming an inspirational figure is a powerful testament to the idea that our past is not a prison but a launch pad. It's a living proof of the transformative power of embracing our entire journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly as integral parts of our purpose. Now let's pause for a moment and consider the implications of this perspective. What if everything we go through, every trial, every tribulation, every moment that makes us want to hide in shame is actually part of a bigger plan? What if, instead of running from our past, we embraced it as the very thing that qualifies us to make a difference in the world? This idea flies in the face of conventional wisdom. For society often tells us to bury our past, to reinvent ourselves, to become someone new. But what if the key to our future lies in the very experiences we're trying to forget? Tara's journey challenges us to rethink the concept of purpose. It suggests that our purpose isn't something we stumble upon or create out of thin air. Instead, it's intricately woven into the fabric of our experiences, even the ones we'd rather forget. This perspective doesn't just offer comfort, it offers empowerment. It transforms victims into victors, turning scars into stars that guide others through their own dark nights. Now, I can almost hear the skeptics among you. You might be thinking, that's a nice story, but how does it apply to me? I haven't run a brothel or experienced such a dramatic turnaround. And that's a fair question. But here's the thing. Tara's story, while unique in its details, is universal in its message. Think about your own life for a moment. Those failures that keep you up at night, the mistakes that make you cringe, the periods of your life you'd rather erase. What if they're not just random events or regrettable missteps? What if they're integral parts of your journey, shaping you for a purpose you haven't yet fully grasped? This isn't about glorifying mistakes or justifying harmful actions. It's about recognizing that our journey, with all its twists and turns, is shaping us for something greater. It's about understanding that the very experiences that seem to disqualify us might be the ones that uniquely qualify us to make a difference. Tara's transformation from running a brothel to inspiring others is a powerful example of this principle in action. But you don't need a dramatic past to apply this truth to your life. Maybe you're a business leader who's faced failure. Perhaps you're an artist who struggled with rejection. Or you might be a parent who's made mistakes you regret. Whatever your story, the principle remains the same. Your past is not your prison, it's your platform. Now, let's take this idea a step further. What would happen if we as a society embrace this perspective? If instead of hiding our struggles, we shared them. If instead of being ashamed of our past, we recognize it as a source of wisdom and empathy. Imagine a world where our wounds become well springs of healing for others. A world where our failures become the foundation for others' success. A world where no experience, no matter how painful or shameful, is wasted. This shift in perspective has the power to transform not just individual lives, but entire communities. It could revolutionize how we approach rehabilitation, education, and personal development. Instead of trying to erase or overcome our past, we could learn to integrate it, to draw strength and wisdom from it. But let's be clear, this isn't about passively accepting everything that happens to us as meant to be. It's about actively choosing to find meaning and purpose in our experiences, especially the difficult ones. It's about taking responsibility for our choices while also recognizing the potential for growth and transformation in every situation. Tara's journey exemplifies this active engagement with her past. She didn't just passively accept her experiences in the brothel. She chose to see God's presence even in that unlikely place. She didn't just move on from her past. She embraced it as part of her mission to help others. This approach to life requires courage. It demands that we face our past head on, that we look unflinchingly at the parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. But it also offers immense freedom. When we stop running from our past and start seeing it as part of our purpose, we unlock a new level of authenticity and power in our lives. Let me share with you another powerful example of this principle in action. I recently came across the story of John, a former drug addict who spent years in and out of prison. For most of his life, John saw his addiction and his criminal record as irredeemable stains on his character, barriers that would forever prevent him from living a meaningful life. But then something shifted. John began to see his experiences not as disqualifications, but as unique qualifications. He realized that his journey through addiction and incarceration gave him a perspective and understanding that few others had. Today, John runs a successful rehabilitation program for ex offenders, using his past as a powerful tool to connect with and help others who are struggling. John's story, like Tara's, illustrates a profound truth. Our greatest struggles often become our greatest strengths. The very experiences that we think disqualify us from making a difference are often the ones that uniquely position us to help others. Consider also the story of Sarah, a woman who battled severe depression for years. She felt ashamed of her mental health struggles, believing they made her weak or somehow defective. But as she began to heal and share her story, she discovered that her experiences gave her a deep well of empathy and understanding for others facing similar challenges. Today, Sarah is a mental health advocate, using her journey to break down stigmas and provide hope for those still in the depths of depression. Her past, once a source of shame, has become her greatest asset in making a positive impact on the world. These stories, Tara's, John's, Sarah's, they're not anomalies. They're examples of a powerful truth that applies to each and every one of us. Our struggles, our pain, our mistakes, they're not just obstacles to overcome, they're integral parts of our journey, shaping us for a unique purpose that only we can fulfill. But embracing this perspective isn't easy. It requires a fundamental shift in how we view ourselves and our experiences. It demands that we challenge some deeply ingrained beliefs about success, failure, and purpose. So, how do we make this shift? How do we begin to see our past not as a burden, but as a launchpad for our purpose? First, we need to practice radical acceptance. This means acknowledging every part of our journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly, without judgment. It's about saying, this happened and it's part of my story, rather than, This shouldn't have happened to me. Second, we need to look for the lessons in our experiences. Every struggle, every failure, every moment of pain carries within it a seed of wisdom. Our job is to find that seed and nurture it. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me? How did it shape me? How has it equipped me to help others? Third, we need to reframe our narrative. Instead of seeing ourselves as victims of our circumstances, we can choose to see ourselves as the heroes of our own stories. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain or difficulty of our experiences. It means recognizing our own resilience and growth in the face of adversity. Fourth, we need to connect our past to our purpose. This is where the real magic happens. Once we've accepted our experiences and found the lessons within them, we can start to see how they uniquely qualify us to make a difference in the world. Maybe your struggle with addiction equips you to help others on their recovery journey. Perhaps your experience of loss gives you the empathy to support others through grief. Your past pain could be the key to someone else's healing. Fifth, and perhaps most importantly, we need to share our stories. In a world that often encourages us to present only our best selves, there's revolutionary power in authenticity. Your willingness to be vulnerable about your journey could be the catalyst for someone else's transformation. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but my story isn't dramatic enough. I haven't overcome huge obstacles like addiction or running a brothel. But here's the truth. Every story matters. Your struggles, your pain, your journey, they're all significant. They all have the power to touch lives and make a difference. Maybe you've struggled with self-doubt and imposter syndrome. Your journey to self-acceptance could inspire others to embrace their own worth. Perhaps you faced financial hardships. Your story of resilience could give hope to others in similar situations. Even the everyday challenges you've overcome, the small victories you've won, they all have the power to encourage and uplift others. The key is to recognize that your experiences, whatever they may be, have shaped you in unique ways. They've given you insights, empathy, and strength that no one else possesses in quite the same way. And that makes you uniquely qualified to make a difference in the world. But embracing this perspective isn't just about personal growth or self-help. It has the potential to transform our communities and our world. Imagine a society where we no longer hide our struggles or shame each other for our past mistakes. Imagine a world where we celebrate the wisdom that comes from overcoming adversity, where we value the insights gained through pain as much as we value traditional forms of success. In such a world, we would see a revolution in how we approach everything from education to criminal justice, from mental health to business leadership. We would create spaces where people feel safe to share their full stories, knowing that their experiences, all of them, are valuable. We would build systems that recognize the unique qualifications that come from lived experience, not just formal education or professional achievements. This vision might seem idealistic, even impossible, but it starts with each of us making the choice to see our own story differently. It begins with us refusing to be defined by our past mistakes or limited by our struggles. It grows as we courageously share our journeys, using our experiences as bridges to connect with and help others. So I challenge you today. How will you view your story differently? How will you use your past, all of it, to shape a better future, not just for yourself, but for those around you? Will you have the courage to look at those parts of your life you've been trying to forget or overcome and instead ask, how can this experience be used for good? How has this prepared me to make a unique contribution to the world? Will you dare to share your story, not just the highlight reel, but the full, messy, beautiful truth of your journey? Will you risk vulnerability to connect authentically with others and potentially change lives? Will you choose to see your scars not as blemishes to be hidden, but as badges of honor that qualify you to guide others through their own dark nights? The world is waiting for your voice, for your experiences, for the unique perspective that only you can offer. Your story, yes, yours, has the power to change lives, to inspire hope, to spark transformation. Remember, in the grand tapestry of life, every thread has a purpose, even the dark ones, especially the dark ones. They provide the contrast that makes the bright threads shine all the more brilliantly. Your story, with all its twists and turns, is an essential part of this tapestry. As you leave here today, I challenge you to embrace your entire journey. See your past not as something to overcome, but as something to integrate and share. Recognize that your struggles have not disqualified you, they prepared you. And most importantly, understand that your story has the power to change lives. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to turn your scars into stars that guide others through their darkest nights. It's to use your pain as a platform for purpose. It's to transform your struggles into strengths that can change the world. The world doesn't need more people who have it all together. The world needs more people who are willing to be real, to be vulnerable, to use their whole story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to make a difference. So go forth, embrace your story, share your journey. Use your past to illuminate a brighter future for yourself and for others. Because remember, in the end, it's not just about overcoming your past, it's about using it to create a better future for yourself and for others. Your light is needed. Your story matters. The world is waiting for the unique gift that only you can give. Will you have the courage to share it? Thank you.